You are now listening to The Perfect Prana with Kyah Ann. What's poppin'? What's good? You're listening to The Perfect Prana Show. I am your host, Kyah Ann, a yoga enthusiast, a Columbia College student studying radio and voiceover, and a human being. That's my identity right now. Literally human. Like a little bit of yoga news. What's going on in the world of yoga? What's going on with my personal journey? Of course, Yoga Heals, special guest coming on. I'm very excited for this guest today. And also the weekly wellness challenge, last week's challenge, this week's challenge. Yeah, get into it. But before we really get into it, let's center ourselves. Whether you're at a park, sitting on a bench, on your couch, sitting at work, it's the weekend, or you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify at your own leisure. Maybe you're in the car. Wherever you are, let's find our center. Bring awareness to your body. Really honing in on all the five senses. What do you smell? What do you feel? What do you hear? What do you taste? So yeah, sitting up nice and tall on your sit bones, or standing, or laying long, whatever your posture is right now, that is fine and that is acceptable. Roll your shoulders up and back to open up your heart. Relax your eyebrows. Relax your jaw. If it's safe, close your eyes. Take a deep inhale through your nose and hold at the top. And then exhale through your nose and hold at the bottom. Take a deep inhale and fill your belly up. And then exhale to deflate your belly. Take a few deep cleansing breaths at your own pace. And just keep breathing. Just keep focusing on your breath, focusing on that prana, prana translating to breath as in the breath of life, or our energy source. I declare centeredness. Now let's get on with the show. Yoga news. Trigger warning. I will be discussing a missing persons case. Yoga news. Southern California woman disappeared during yoga retreat in Guatemala weeks ago, family says. Nancy Ng, a 29-year-old from Los Angeles, was on a yoga retreat in Mexico, and she departed from the group and went off with a friend to go kayaking in a lake. And the friend said that she got out and went swimming and then drowned after that. But they haven't found her body. She's just missing. They've searched 95% of the lake, and it's not looking so good. The family believes it's a possibility she could still be alive. There's a little bit of weirdness going on with the story because the witnesses reported her missing like 24 hours from the incident, and it just took a long time. It seemed like they were taking a really long time to report what was happening to the family. So it's all very unfortunate. My heart really goes out to her and her family. I hope that she's still alive. That would be ideal. best case scenario, what even is the best case scenario? It all sucks no matter what, because even if she is alive, then she's stuck somewhere, in a dangerous situation, most likely. There was a video of her soon before she went missing where she was waving and smiling as she was kayaking in the lake. So it's just really unfortunate. I hope that there's more answers that come out soon. I can't imagine how daunting this must be for her family. Like, she could still be alive, but she's probably not. Officials are assuming that she just drowned, and that's what the witness was saying. So the family was saying that the witnesses aren't corroborating, though, so they just feel like there's something strange going on. I hope not. Hopefully, in a perfect world, again, she would just be found alive and healthy and okay. We are living in this world, and this world is imperfect. That's arguable. Why do bad things happen to good people? You know, sometimes it is like that. Sometimes people have so much ahead of them, but then in a second, it's all gone. And they are excited about life, and they do want to be here, and they would give anything for another breath of life. But then it's all gone. And why is it like that? I don't know. Sometimes maybe it's just random, maybe it's just meant to be. Why do we get so much mercy when we do so many reckless things that could take us out, but they don't? We don't get taken out by all the reckless things that we do. It's mercy, but we're not always guaranteed that, though. So it's scary. It's scary and it's confusing, and I have questions. It's always a discussion that I come back to over and over again as tragedies like this happen, and just giving gratitude and giving thanks for my own life and where I'm at right now, because it's like, man, this could all be taken from me any moment. Yeah, it's not to be taken for granted, but I still want to go on a yoga retreat. I hate that this happened, but I don't blame yoga retreats. I don't blame yoga. I don't blame Mexico or Guatemala, or I don't know what happened, honestly. There just needs to be more information to come out. I feel like there's really nothing to blame. We take risks, we do things sometimes, and then sometimes the risks just don't work out, and sometimes it's life-altering or life-changing. And that's just the world. That's just how it is, but it's important to not... I guess that's why I've learned it's important to not get too attached to the good things or even the bad things. Just let it pass you by. A lot of times this life is out of our control. Yet we create it at the same time, but we can't really control it. We could just stay at the center of it all. That's unfortunate. Like I said, best case scenario, she's found and healthy and safe and okay, but I don't know. On to my personal yoga journey, all about my personal journey with yoga. What's going on this week? The other day when I was feeling super low energy, I had saw this girl on social media saying like she did hundreds, like 107 or 108. I can't remember the exact number, but she did 100 and something sun salutations all at once, you know. And then I was like, and I was just reading through why she did it, and I felt like that was interesting and something that I should do. But that's kind of like a marathon, so I was like, maybe I should work towards it. So that night I went home and I did 20 Sun Salutations, or maybe like a little bit more than that. I low-key lost count, but definitely more than 20. Just to see how it feels. Like, okay, let me just see how it feels if I up the amount that I do. Because, normally when I practice, I might do a few, might do 5 total. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I went home and I experimented. I was like, let me just do this much, because I was feeling so that day, just so low energy, so stagnant, so stuck, so unproductive. Like, I'm really not getting anything done. So I was like, let me just go home and do this to build up some heat, to build up some fire in me. So I did about 20 of them. Of course, some of them I modified. I did different versions, added something, took something out, or just did a modified version of more of a restful sequence. And then other times when I'm going to put all my effort into this and do more. So it just depended. But I was really focused on syncing my breath with the movements, and I did notice some things. And I made slight tweaks as I was redoing the sequence. It was just creating whole different feelings. It was interesting. I was like, okay, I'm gonna work toward the 100 something. Not now. I'm not gonna bust out and just do 100 Sun Salutations. Tomorrow, tonight, next week, maybe not even next month, but something to work towards. Like, again, it's kind of like a marathon almost. Like, but I was like, let me start with a number that's more accessible and realistic and that feels good to me. So I was like, I'm gonna go with this number. I've never done that many all at once within the same day. It took me about an hour and a half. I don't know, it took me a minute. That's the yoga news. That's my personal journey. Yoga heals. This week's guest, Michael Saa Sekhem. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I should have asked him how, but it's Michael. And he's actually the one that came to my yoga class. So his mission is to cultivate yoga awareness and breath consciousness for men in particular. Anyways, let's get on with the interview. When did you start practicing yoga, and why? And why do you still practice today?
I started literally when I was 12 years old. And it was because I was curious. I'm always curious. I've always been curious. And I used to get up around, always get up around 5:30 to use the bathroom. And at the time, my mom was a lawyer, but like at a new law firm. And so she heard like yoga and like working out early in the morning was really good, for the endorphins, get you up, get you ready and focused. And so she was doing that, I think Buns of Steel and all that stuff was out, so she did that. Of course, I didn't snatch those tapes, but I did see her doing this, crossing her legs. And she was like, now that I know it's like a Warrior 2 or something like that, I'm like, what is that? And so I went and got the tape, and it turned out to be Rodney Yee, who is somebody that you could look up on Instagram. Sorry, I'm not trying to give out free publicity, but yeah. So I took that tape and I watched it for about a year, and that changed my life. Because at first I was just like, what is this? What is she doing? And I was always high energy growing up. And so it's still to this day. And so it helped me to like balance myself. And all he did really is just talk about breath. So that brought me all the way up till now. I lost it between 14, all the way up to about like 25. But before I went back into yoga, I was into Tai Chi and Qigong, and I had gotten into a car accident. So all these things plus yoga coming in my life, and then me being certified at 26, 27, it brought me to where I am now. And I use it daily, and I help other people, make this a part of their life, not like they got to break out of a yoga mat all the time. They can just breathe. And so it's brought me to here from 12 years old.
So why do you still practice today?
Oh, because it brings me peace. It gives me a space where if I have to get out my emotions that are not necessarily, verbal, yoga gives me a lot of that. Especially when you go into like the 8 limbs, it's a lot of, it's meaty. And so it's things that you can focus on, not just the poses, but I do focus on harder poses, things I have to really center myself. Like today, I got some footage of me doing a headstand without hands. I finally got that, but I had my heels like kind of on the window mirror. So yeah, I used to do those a lot. So yeah.
Yes, I was definitely Instagram stalking you.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
So where else do you teach at besides LA Fitness?
So I teach at Studio Yogi, which is at 1840 East 71st Street, and it's in South Shore. It's a new establishment. It's been there about 9 months. And I also teach at Blue Lotus, which is on 63rd or 816 East 63rd Street. That's 63rd in Cottage. Yeah. And for myself, but Studio Yogi gets a lot of my time because I love their vision. I love Julia's message. Julia Perkins is the owner. Yeah, she wants to bring community in. And so I've always been like that. And it's kind of a dream, not kind of, but it's a dream come true to work there. And I know just some beautiful things are coming out and will come out more, going forward. So yeah, those are the 2 places I teach at mostly, but I do teach men's yoga with someone else, but it's not through a studio. It's through Blue Door Neighborhood Center.
Wait, it's like a class specifically for men?
Yes. So it started off with a colleague of mine, Dr. Obari Cartman, and I met him through some people, and he was saying he needed some men's yoga. He thought that men would need yoga. He's a therapist. He would do like drum circles and then he would talk afterwards. But he was like, what if we could have yoga and then the drumming and then the circle, men's circle? And I thought that would be, I was like, I'll be a part of that. And that went on for like 3 years until we made it into like a co-ed situation. And then we moved on from that and started doing yoga with Blue Door Neighborhood Center, which is Blue Cross Blue Shield. So it's just an initiative. We go there and offer services of, yoga and breath work. And then they're free to, shop with Blue Door about any medical services that they need. So, but now men's group is at Studio Yogi now on Sunday. And now it's just family yoga with Blue Door. So that's what I do. So it's always a like 4 or 5 month initiative, and then we break, and then we always come back, in the spring.
Breathing is powerful. It's like, how else do we live? If we're not breathing, then we're not living. So
respiratory system is the most important.
Yeah. So
it's like the most important. Without it, you don't. But we haven't. Every microorganism breathes in a way, even if they don't have lungs per se, like human lungs. It's a breath that it's a vibration that goes through them, electricity. That it's a breath as well. So I have routines and initiatives to get youth and adults in a good headspace, unless they're dealing with something that's a little bit more deeper, and that's a lot in yoga. I find that it's a little deeper. In terms of maybe diet or maybe needing herbal treatment, whatever it is. This is a holistic practice. So by itself, it's nothing. I just want to get to the young men and the young women that were my age that didn't have or don't have parents that are into anything.
Thank you so much for coming on to the Perfect Prana show. I'm really glad to have you here. Before we hang up, can you lead us through a pranayama?
We just do a perfect box on the Perfect Prana show. All right.
Okay.
So we'll hold at the bottom. So we're inhaling.
Okay.
4,
yeah.
Hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4 on the exhale, and we'll inhale after that. And it'll be 4. All right.
All right.
Take 2 breaths of just a preparation. All right. Inhale. Expand the diaphragm right behind the belly button and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now take a deep inhale. 1, 2, 3. Take sips out of your inhale, expanding the belly, and hold for 1. And exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull the belly back towards the spine and inhale. 1. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. And hold for 2, 1. And exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale 1, 2. Take your time. 3, 4. And hold. Close your eyes as well for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale 1, 2. Let's do one more. 3, 4. I skipped a number. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Let the feeling of tension come up, and then exhale 5, 4, 3. Pull the belly all the way in and hold your breath, and take a big inhale. Hold, and just exhale. Let all the energy that has come up drain down towards the feet. Allow yourself to feel heavy and strong.
Thank you. I absolutely love your cues. What I was going to ask you was, how would you end a class? Because normally I say, may the divinity in me bow to the divinity in you, or something along the lines, and namaste. How would you end it if you're teaching Kemetic yoga?
I've made it my own. What I say in my classes is, may this practice give us a better perspective of ourselves and each other. And then I have people come from their forehead down to their chest. And I say, may this practice instill and give us a better heart for ourselves and each other.
Okay. Well, then to that, I will say, may this conversation give us a better perspective and understanding of ourselves
and each other.
And each other, yes. Weekly wellness challenge. I challenged you all to spread the love, to give a compliment, affirmation, validation, confirmation to somebody outside of yourself. It's great to do it inward, but it's also very important to do outward. And I had a very lengthy discussion about this with my dad, and I'm glad that we did. And I feel valid in pursuing this challenge. And it's not just a challenge for a week, but it's just a way of life, to practice seeing the light in people, even when it's hard. Sometimes we have to dig into our compassion and our empathy to see the light in people, and to see that you're enough and you're valid as a human as you are, and you're doing your best. Like, everybody needs that. Everybody needs to be validated and to be built up and to be loved. Not just by themselves, but by others as well. It's a perfect mixture of everything, of everybody. Like, we have to love each other, we have to love ourselves, vice versa, vice, all that. How did that go? It went interesting, because I noticed that, okay, it's easy to do it for these people, but what about people that it's not as easy to do it for? And man, I really don't have anything nice to say about this person at all. And that's really messed up. In my head, I can't think of anything to validate them on, or they're just completely wrong, they're this, they're that. But then again, I had this conversation with my dad, and I dug deeper into our connectedness, into being a human being, and just man, that's valid, that's enough. To even say that I'm glad that you're here, to give somebody gratitude, to say hey, I'm glad that you're here. Because if somebody's here, then they're doing a great job, because they could be not here. They could make the choice to be not here and not present and not alive. They can make the choice to stop breathing. But the fact that they are getting up to live another day and to just be on this earth, that is amazing. That's amazing. That's enough, and you're perfectly valid for that. And I'm thankful for everybody that is here. Their light might not be shining in my face, but it can in the future, as long as they keep living, because every day's another chance to do something different and to change. So they might be down now, but in the future they might be completely different people, and they just need to know that they're loved and valid as they are now, and that this is the way of life, to just be compassionate for everybody. Because there was points in my life where I was struggling and I wasn't doing my best, and I might have appeared to be a hot mess to everybody, but I still deserve to be loved and validated then. It's not like, just because you're not being the most productive or getting the most done, or just because you're missing out on something or dropping the ball on this, or you don't know who you are, you don't know your path, that doesn't mean that you should just stop being alive. Like, no, because that'll change. What you know, what you learn, that changes. Growth happens at our own pace, but we have to stay alive to keep growing. And that's the point. This week's weekly wellness challenge, I will be performing Surya Namaskara, Sun Salutation, at least 5 times a day, and probably my additional practice at least 5 times, since I'm training for my Sun Salutation marathon, basically, of doing 100. So yeah, that's gonna be this week's weekly challenge. Feel free to join me. Feel free to meet yourself where you're at in your practice, though, because it's a lot. It's a full body experience for me, and I of course modify it and change it depending on where I'm at in the practice or in general. And sometimes I do every movement fully. Sometimes I might do a more restful version, so it can be modified. But even just the act of getting up and getting down, there's power in repetition, to repetitively do something over and over again. That's where the growth is. That's when you get better. And I did notice that as I approached 20 the other day, was as I went on, I noticed certain things that I was doing, and then I made slight adjustments and changes, and it felt better. And doing it so many times gave me the chance to add those cues and to add those adjustments, to where sometimes if I'm just doing something once or twice or whatever, then I feel like, okay, I have no time to add the adjustments that I need. It's gonna take me more than 1 try, more than 2 tries, more than 3. That's how life is. It's gonna take me a lot of tries. So I like to keep coming back to it and just do things a little bit differently every time. I'm probably going to put out an extended version. So if you're listening on the radio and you're like, it's missing something, then there's probably an extended version out. Catch me on Apple and Spotify, and Saturdays and Sundays at 10 a.m. and 9 a.m. on 88.1 FM WCRX. If you want to keep up with me on Instagram at consistently Kyah, consistently spelled with a K, Kyah spelled Kyah. I am going to end out with a quote. The oneness of human beings is the basic ethical thread that holds us together. Muhammad Yunus. Muhammad Yunus is a Nobel Peace Prize winner and economist, entrepreneur. He's just really rich and really smart, basically. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Perfect Prana Show. Another week with you guys. I'm so blessed to be here with you all. With that being said, may the light in darkness within me bow to the light in darkness within you. Namaste.